I was recently asked by Karl if I would put together a quick video explaining what honing is, why we do it, and how to do it. So to start with, I've used my 3/8 inch bowl gouge as an example. And if you take a look at this picture, you'll see that there is a gap between the two edges of the bevel, and there's light showing underneath that straight edge. And that's because this has what's called a hollow grind. Now, a hollow grind is what you get when you use a sharpening stone. And depending on the size of the sharpening stone, you will get either a shallow or a deep hollow. So take a look at this picture. If you can imagine that those two pieces are pieces of steel, the ones that are shaded in. When you take a grinding wheel and push it in basically into the steel, it'll leave you a hollow spot. And depending on the size of that wheel, you'll get a longer grind. The two pictures that are seen here are demonstrating a 6-inch and a 10-inch wheel. You can also get different sizes of wheels. I should mention that if you use one of those sanding belts to sharpen, you won't have a hollow grind. And I'm not sure if this even applies to those. So now let's think about why you'd want to hone your gouge. Well, imagine that every time this got a little bit dull, you took it back to your grinder and did another grinding. Well, every time you do that, you shorten your gouge just a very tiny amount, but over time, you can lose a lot of steel. Honing prevents that. Because of the fact that you've got that hollow there, when you hone your tool, you're only taking steel off of the bottom and the top of the bevel, just a little bit. But you can do that quite a number of times before you start to get to the point where you're doing the whole bevel, and then it's time to take it back to the grinder. All right, now, how do you hone these? Well, you can get these diamond cards in all kinds of different coarseness. This one is fine. It says it's 25 micron, 600 mesh. All I know is it's very fine. Then there's this one that's got both fine and super fine on it. So you can use any of these you like. I prefer this card. I find it just fits my hand well. And you just put it across the bevel. So of course there's going to be that hollow in there. And then you just wipe it very gently across there a few times. It doesn't take very long. You'll end up with it sharpening it again, and you will see the marks that are made by sharpening that. And when you get to the point where the marks are starting to converge right into the center, then it's time to take it back to the stone. And one little tip: if you've got one of these cards and you're doing that, eventually you're going to end up with the particles of the steel actually embedding themselves in those diamonds, no matter how fine they are. Take it, run it under some water, use one of these, what I call fingernail brushes, brush the heck out of it, and you'll be surprised how much you can clean this up. I've had this for years. It's still working just fine. One more point I want to bring up. I had the privilege of taking a class with Michael Hosseluk, and Michael Hosseluk is a far better and more knowledgeable turner than I will ever be. But there's one thing I'm not sure I agree with him on. I bought this half-round file from him, and he said that every time you hone, you should put this inside, keep it straight, and run it along inside there before you use the diamond card. Now, as I understand it, the definition of sharp is two straight edges coming together at a point. Well, I don't believe this inside of the flute is ever going to stop being flat. So I'm not sure if this works, but like I said, Michael Hosseluk told me he's better than I am, and so I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Whether you get these and use them or not, it's totally up to you. Well, I can't imagine a tip being much quicker than this, and I hope it will help. It's especially Karl, who asked about this, and I hope it'll help someone else. If it did, click the like button. Let me know I'm doing something right. Share this idea with your friends if you like, and don't forget to subscribe. So I hope you'll come back next time. Between now and then, have a great day in your shop and be safe. Thanks for watching.